Okay, so morning everyone. Welcome to the 8th Research and Development Show and Tell for the Improving Local Authority Building Control Alpha. My name's Dawn Turner, I'm the user researcher on the project, and I'm joined here today with my colleague Rhiann, who is the developer. Our colleague Tom, who is the designer, is on annual leave today. So the agenda for today, I'm just going to talk through, we'll give you an update from the workshop that we held last week. Then going to pass over to Rhiann, and she'll talk about some updates to the coded prototype that she's been working on, a little bit about data standards, and then we finish off with what is next. Okay, just a bit of a recap what the Alpha vision is. So to explore, prototype and test solutions that demonstrate how building control can be improved to deliver a better user experience for customers and staff, improve the quality and usefulness of data, and to position local authorities as the service provider of choice. So the update from the workshop, this was something we held online last Thursday. So a virtual workshop where we focused on site inspections. We called it a co-design session, despite it being online, because what we did, we had some really good conversations, talking about some of the current processes, where there are some ideas to how we can make improvements. And Tom was in the background busily doing some sketching, drawing on those ideas. And he presented back at the end, and we got some feedback. So it was a really useful session. We got some really good information from it. As I say, we focused on site inspections, but specifically on the on-site part of that journey. We were very aware from previous research and previous discussions that there were some challenges around taking photos, combining it with site notes, site observations. But what came out from the session was some design considerations that we need to think about for surveyor supervision, so how we can manage that flow. Presenting information at the beginning, so for example previous contraventions that the surveyor needs to be aware of, and also thinking about what information needs to be saved and made available by the end of that inspection. So when the surveyor leaves site, what actually needs to be recorded so it is available for other people to see before they finish off and make those final amendments to their report. So yeah, really useful session. Thanks to everyone who attended. Okay, I'm going to pass over to Rhiann now to talk about the coded prototype.
Lovely. I'm just going to share my screen in a minute, but just to let you know what you're going to be looking at. In the last demo, we covered the customer portal page, which was one of the things that emerged from research as something that people thought would be useful for applicants to be able to see the progress of their application. And we had a lot of information on there, and a lot of things like people being able to book inspections and just generally see what needed to be done, answer queries and so on. So today what we're going to be looking at is the equivalent in the back office system, a place where anyone involved with the process, such as technical support or surveyors, can actually see at a glance with the application what's going on, and to have a kind of audit trail there of events that have happened, and a kind of circular journey where they can communicate with the applicant. So I'm just going to share my screen for a minute, and I have a terrible habit of forgetting which screen I'm sharing. So if I start talking about something that's not on this screen because I've gone off to the customer portal or whatever, please just jump in and say, I can't see that, or I don't know what you're talking about. So when someone logs into the back office system, we've previously walked through the validation journey of steps that technical support might need to take, and then the surveyors would start working on things like the design check. But this is the overview that somebody would see when something has just been submitted, and maybe members of staff have been allocated here. So we can see that something's come in, we don't yet know what the cost will be, so we've got no estimate there. We've got maybe default people assigned, but those could be changed. We've got the duty holders. This has no design checks done yet, so it has no requirements, but that's where they'd appear. And we have this kind of audit trail at the bottom. So just to show you a few examples of how this might work in real life, we're seeing that there's no quote here. So if you've gone on here to calculate the fee, for example, just let me log into this. Okay, so I think I was on this one, yeah. So you could go on and calculate the fee. Say the fee was going to be £800 for the sake of argument. You'd then see that updating with the estimated cost. Anyone working on this would be able to reassign. We don't have a lot of different staff members in our pretend application here, but this is where you'd be able to reassign staff. And then going down here, this is the cool bit. So we can see all the tasks there that have been done in the validation process. So say, for example, you want to request a new document from somebody because they haven't submitted everything that you need to see. So you could say something like foundation plan. And we're going to use our test user. Submit that request. And then if I go back, you will see that if I refresh this page, that has now been added. And then if I go off, and this is where I need to switch to this tab, we have our email, and you'll see that this email has just dropped in asking the applicant to go to the portal, which I'm now going to share. And you can see here that the applicants can do various things, like in the last demo, I showed you, for example, that they're able to book a visit, change the visit and so on using a calendar, and that it's integrated with the calendar. So here I'm just going to create a new inspection as we did last week, just to show that appearing in the audit trail. And also we will submit the required documents. So I'm just going to choose any document here, or any vaguely related building control related documents. So this is the customer uploading the documents. And now if we go back to the prototype, and I'm going to share this, you'll be able to see, if I refresh the page, that they can immediately see that the site visit has been created, and that they can see that the person has uploaded the document. So no need to go off to different parts of the application just to check whether somebody's responded or not. It's all captured in the audit trail here. And it's also worth saying that because we have a API endpoint, what that means is just a way for different systems within councils to talk to each other. We would offer an integration such that if someone has paid, that would be automatically updated, and that tab would appear there as paid. I'm not going to go into too many technical details, but another thing that we've been doing in the background, because we've been talking a lot about data standards, and I'm going to stop sharing now. And Dawn, maybe you could move on, reshare and move on to the data standards tab, if you wouldn't mind.
Okay.
Lovely. So also, I didn't demo this because it's not really going to be of interest to anyone without a deep interest in software, but also in the background, it's worth noting that the work I've been doing on data standards is also so translated to this prototype, in the sense that I'm using the data standard, and every time we add something like duty holders or notices, we are of course demonstrating that the data standard is usable by using it to submit into our prototype. So this next update is a request as much as anything. We always need people to contribute to the data standards project. If you'd like to review them and have your say, please do get in touch with me, either just by pinging me in Building Control Slack, or emailing me, or just reaching out to one of the team. But one of the things that we're looking at the moment, we would love to see some example submissions for building notices, because so far we have created a data standard for full plans, for initial notices, and for competent persons, but we'd really like to capture some ideas for building notices. So if anyone has a couple of sample building notices, obviously with redacted details, that they'd be happy to send me, I'd be really grateful for that. Or if you have colleagues who have access to this would also be really great. And I think that is the technical bit concluded, and back to Dawn.
Thanks, Rhiannon. Okay, so what's next? We're continuing our research. We've completed a lot of the testing, but obviously if there's anyone else would like to get involved in the testing moving forward, do get in touch, as Brian said, via the Slack channel, or drop us an email. But we are continuing research with other stakeholders, including suppliers, so we can understand some of the universal challenges around data in industry challenges. So that there've been some really useful interviews there. We are continuing with our prototyping. So following the workshop last week, we are now working on some of the site inspections prototype, and also looking at completion as well. Rhiannon mentioned she's continuing to build out the coded prototype, focusing on design checks and those customer portal notice submissions, and adding the building notices to data standards as well. So that draws us to a close. So I'm just going to stop the recording now.